Three, two, one. Hey, everybody, this is Victor. I'm here with Jonathan. This is actually part two of his case study. So Jonathan's a student of mine in my six-figure house flipper program. And we did a case study a while back, a couple months ago, actually a lot of months ago, where he had his first flip under contract. Well, what was it? 6 months?
I think it was, no, I think it was like 4 months ago.
4 months ago. That seems about right. But he had his first flip under contract, so he's actually since closed on that one. He's almost done with renovations, about to list that one. But in the meantime, and I don't know if we mentioned this one last time, he did another flip, and he netted 47,000. It was a 47,000 net deal. So definitely want to get into that. Give an update as to where he's at. Yeah. So how are you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing pretty good. So yeah, I mean, just to get started, I have been working in these two properties, right? And it's the first time that I've been managing two properties. And it's in part because I know that now I have Victor on my side to actually kind of help with questions. Now, I was messaging him like every other day, but he always answered. But so what happened was I have these two properties that I took at the same time. And one of them was a project for a family member that I think it was a pretty good strategy that I wanted to, that I mentioned to this family member of mine, that I said, I'll basically hold I'll pay for all the renovations of the project, and you just kind of put the house, you just hold the house for 2 months or 3 months while we're done, and then we split the profit when we sell the house. So that house was actually, I was working on it for like 3 months, and we sold it recently. And we basically got a little more than the money that we thought we were gonna get originally. We thought that it was probably gonna be between 620,000 that the property was gonna sell for. It ended up selling for 650.
Awesome.
So we got some of that percentage, that we got some of the $30,000, and then we also make some money out of the renovation itself. That was around like 15 or something like that.
That's huge. Yeah, that's a really good deal. I mean, 47,000 in your pocket. That's life changing. I mean, that's 2 rentals. That's that's 1 rental. Like you can, or that's a down payment on another flip, or another.
Depends on what market, but but yeah, ultimately, yeah, it's money that I can use for myself, use for the business, use to keep growing. So yeah, better in my pocket than out there for sure.
That's true. That's awesome. So what are some of the things, what are some the things you learned on that flip? Oh, actually, before I get into that, I want to mention that's actually somewhat common. I hear that somewhat often, where there's maybe a family member with a property that needs a little bit of work and they don't want to deal with it. I know that's not a long-term strategy. How many family members do you have with houses? But I actually come across that quite a bit, where it's a family member needs help, and someone fixes up and flips, and they kind of split the profit. That's come across my table quite a bit.
Yeah, and I would say honestly, just mention it, because that's one of those things that it's I don't know. People sometimes know what you're doing, but they kind of don't know. I think it's super important that you represent what you do. So every time that you have the opportunity to mention to somebody that this is what you're doing, right, that you are working on property renovations, just take that opportunity every single time. And things showed up, and that's kind of the thing. It's you're not negotiating out the bat, but you are already kind of letting people know this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Is that how you found, I'm not actually sure, is that how you found this one? You just told them, or did they already know?
Well, they knew that I was doing some of these properties, but it's one of those things I never show them this is how they look before, this is how they look after. This is kind of the way that we manage the numbers, and I have some of my crew guys come over and kind of get them comfortable, because it's a big process, and it's their home and they want to make sure that things are being taken care of. So but it's you ultimately there's always a way. But if you start by just kind of mentioning and talking the things that you have been doing in real estate, it piques people's interest, especially now with the market the way that it is. People actually want to know.
Not like it was 5 years ago or so. Oh, real estate, okay, cool. I think that's a good there's a good lesson in there. where it's like if nobody knows what you're doing, like you don't get the benefit of like referrals, or like you don't get the benefit of your network. So people should know what you're doing, you know, within limits. Like don't be telling people like at a bus stop, like, hey, I put a thing. But like people should know what you do, and you'd be like sometimes you can get referrals that way, and like you got a referral that way, and you know made 47,000. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I sadly I have become the guy that is like, oh, this is the real estate evangelist. He's coming over.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things like you learned on that flip?
Well, number one, that doing a flip for a family member well, at least for me, it was more stressful. You know,
Okay.
it was just one of those things. You know, you want to make sure that everything is done right. They also, you know, they will stop by the house and kind of look over the property. You know, it's kind of like you just have that extra layer of stress. But I would say, other than that, a lot of the process itself was very similar. You know,
Okay.
the numbers, the situation. I'll keep them updated from time to time. But you know, very important from the beginning, family and all, but paperwork. You know, make sure that you have some
That's
kind of
smart.
agreement,
Yeah.
because things can change. You know, and it's like, but so you know, just be careful as any other deal. Don't, you know, it's family, so you don't want to risk, you know, getting into issues later on. So, but yeah, so I would say basically that's how I got the deal, and you know, pretty good.
Awesome. Okay. So that's the family deal. Awesome. So made 47,000. Can't be mad at that. What about this other deal? I think that's the one we talked about last time. I think you're almost done with renovation. How's that been going? What have you learned from that one so far?
Yeah. So the renovation, it's almost complete. I have been having like you know, I've been having an inspector from the county that just wants like extra things being done. So I'm supposed to have the final inspection actually next week. So I'm hoping, if everything goes well, I'm hoping that I can put it in the market. But yeah, this property, I've learned a lot, because this is just it's an older property in a location that I've never worked before. So you know, there was a little bit of learning right there. But this property, you know, the age, and then it was also the first time that I've done putting the entire central system of air condition, like
Right. Yeah.
yeah, like switching basically from a boiler to an AC system. Like I have never done that kind of deal before, so I did it here, and there was a lot of learning with that. But so on some of the other things, it's like, you know, it's just more experience. Think little things to notice here and there. Be a little more careful when running some of the numbers. You know, don't get emotionally attached. Yada yada yada.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I'm still happy with the deal. I'm happy that I have the house, that I'm working on it. And like I said, you know, if I'm able to put it on the market soon, I should be able to make some money there too.
Okay, awesome. That's good to hear. I think I wanted to share, I don't know if you remember it, like what happened with like the HVAC quotes. Remember, like at the beginning, you got 3 quotes.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
yes.
share that? I think that's a really interesting thing.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
the whole funnel mentality that we're always talking about. So it's like the idea of, it doesn't matter what happens, you know, always get, it's almost like if you're gonna get quotes, just get a bunch of quotes, and then get, you know, from those, then maybe get some of them to go to the house, see how things, you know, the estimates, and then ultimately hire the one that is more convenient. So I was the kind of person that most of the time I'll put like 1 or 2 companies, get their numbers, and then be done. But this time I was like, no, because you know, this is what I've been teach. So let me put it in practice. So I actually called like almost 13 different HVAC companies, and
Awesome.
I got all kinds of estimates from like $25,000 to like $7,000, you know, 7,500, something like that. And not only that, like even the experience that some of them have, you know, it's like you're able to compare so much more, so that you can come up with something that makes sense for you. And that's the thing. It's like that's one of those simple but, you know, really important tips that I really learned with this deal, because you know, there has been several, by now at least 3 occasions, that things that I will typically pay more, you know, it has been much cheaper or better quality.
That's great.
When you
Yeah,
do
I think
contract.
because I remember when you were initially voxering me about it, and we were like voxering, like going back and forth
Yeah.
almost every day, and you got your first quote, and it was like, oh man, I way underestimated that HVAC is going to be 25,000. And I think we're going back for like, well, let's wait for the second quote to come in. And like the second quote was like 15,000. Like, I'm still maybe, over budget, but maybe I can do 15. And then I think the third quote came in. I know you got more, but like the third quote came in as like $8,000 or something like that, $9,000.
Yeah, and
It came
actually,
slow.
the number that you even have in your spreadsheet of numbers, it was actually close to that number too.
There we go.
So,
But it can
yeah.
scare a lot of beginners. Like they see the 25,000 number, like, oh man, I have messed up big time. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then you get a couple other quotes and like, okay, well, wait, okay, maybe it wasn't, completely off. Some people, I think some companies just want to like try a really high price. And even if they get like a lot less people, they make such huge profit. Like they do one HVAC a year and they're done. That's it.
So I would say there is a sweet spot there for quality, for sure. Because there are something that I've noticed is like you have the type of contractor that they come in, and whatever they do, they're gonna fix or do whatever it is that they were supposed to do, but everything else is gonna be a mess. And it's like you depending, like I found a guy now that is really good with HVAC work, and he can do the duct work, he can do everything, but he's the guy that destroy the house. So it's one of those things, but honestly, even somebody like that, like he's part of my team. It's like I just gotta know when to call him. Don't call him after I have like the majority of the stuff said and done. He's the first guy that goes in.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So he
You know
messes
what I
up
mean?
the
Because
place,
like,
and
yeah,
you're like, okay, well, let me just put all these walls back and like.
exactly. Yeah, precisely. Like it's before demo or around demo time. I call him. He's the guy. He's the one that needs to put all the duct where he can get it done. So yeah, so that's another thing. Learning about like new contractors, different prices. All of these have just completely changed. Basically, the way that I'm running my business. Because now the numbers, and there is something. The 70% rule, and I remember you telling me like, if you go for 80, it's just one of those things, you can make or lose. And I was like, but then I'm always like, no, I think I can squeeze it in. And then, at the end, boom, it's like things get more stressful because now you're trying to do more work with less money. And but like I said, I absolutely love it. I mean, I love the business. So, to me, it's just like problems that need to be resolved.
I like it. I was gonna ask, like, I mean, you've had these two experiences, and you're wrapping up one. Like, are you like gung ho, like, hey, I want to go do more flips and more rentals in the future? Like, hey, I'm out of this. This isn't for me. Like, which?
Oh, absolutely not. This is totally for me. No, I love this thing. It's like I love everything about real estate renovations and just buying the property, seeing the places, talking to people. Like it's amazing. I love this. This is just like more love. Yeah, and it's like I really like. I almost say I take it personal when I see a house that it's completely destroyed. And then when just seeing it through the process, and then at the end when you have that product, it's just such an amazing feeling. Yeah.
It is. It really is. Like when it all comes together, and then especially if you have like a bidding war, like everyone wants it, like, oh, I want it. That's cool too. But just to see the transformation and just like see it step by step is cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The paint goes up and the flooring goes down. It's like, whoa, is this the same house? That's really cool.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely love it, and I just want to do more. So like I said, I just right now, hopefully we can get this thing out of the way, put it out there in the market. But like I said, even with the rent prices, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll
I
refine
rent
it.
it out. Yeah. Well, that's the thing I'm seeing with like construction delays now, with where we're at in the market. I mean, it's still a hot market, like it's still appreciating. So even if it gets delayed a couple months, like you just sell it for a little bit more. And that's just the world we live in. I mean, that's the strategy. So even if you have a delay, like I had a delay here recently, and like I actually made more because of the delay. There's a comp that sold like two houses over, and it worked in our favor. So just a weird place, because I always say it's always the same amount of difficulty. So because it is harder to get contractors and good contractors, it kind of, it evens out with how easy it is to sell the property, so just kind of evens out, balances out.
Yeah.
But very cool. So then kind of with that in mind, like, would you recommend others work with me as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, Victor is the guy. I've actually recommended Victor to some of my friends
Okay.
that also wanted to get involved in real estate, because like I'm telling them, like, if you basically come here and you put the time, right? That's the key thing. You actually put the time and you start doing the moves, just trying to reach out to people, and just try to get that deal under contract. To me, it's like there's no excuse, it's like, if you really want to do it and you're committed, then you do it. And actually, I have a friend that we were talking about this, and he knows some people. I think it was like some broker or something like that. And when I mentioned you, I was like, you can work with Victor, see how things turn out. He was like, no, because like this other person is saying that they're gonna teach me, and I was like, my recommendation is I have studied with other people too. The best thing that you can do is go to somebody like Victor, because he has an actual structured plan that you can follow step by step, plus somebody that you can actually bother like every second. So if you're truly committed, right? Like if you really want to do it, then to me that's the way to do it. Not don't wait. Don't worry about the market either. It's like just learn now, right? The important thing is to learn. And if you have the opportunity of actually getting a property, then that's even better. But it's like this knowledge, like especially if the market, if you're thinking that the market really will go down, then perfect. Learn this now so that when the market really goes down, you can actually do something. So
you know what to do. Exactly. No, I like it. I like that perspective. I remember who you're talking about for sure. Yeah. Just having like a structure and someone, I think the other thing is like someone out there doing it. Like it's one thing, like, oh, with the theory of it, like, oh, I did this 10 years ago, or they've never done it. Like someone who's actually doing it. So I think that's key too.
And also the community, right? Because I was gonna say, I actually met some wholesalers through you, people that are in your program too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they send me deals now. So and it's perfect because like I know them because we spend time going to these classes and the seminars, and it's like there's always a way to interact. So the more you put into it, is the more you're gonna get. So what I mean? It's like like-minded people. This community is pretty amazing. So
absolutely, I like it. Well, very cool. And then like, why should someone listening like take action now?
Wait, what was that?
Like, why should someone like listening like take action?
Oh, because like I said, man, it's like if you're looking for any kind of, well, I consider real estate my vehicle to financial freedom, right? But more than that, it's like I actually love the business, and you can change people's lives. Like I said, I love rentals because I take care of my tenants. And my thing is like, this is something that if you care about learning it, the moment is now. The sooner the better. It doesn't matter when it is. There is absolutely no reason to at least not get the education to get started, right? That's kind of the whole point. Now should be the time, because tomorrow, why tomorrow? You know what I mean? It's like, what? It doesn't matter what happens with the market. Just do it as soon as possible. You're gonna have those tools so that when there is a downturn, then you're gonna be even more prepared to take those opportunities. And if the market kind of stabilizes or keeps going higher, then maybe get into something now if you think that that's gonna happen, and go ahead and do it.
I like it. That's it. That's absolutely it. Awesome. Well, again, appreciate you hopping on here, sharing this like next leg of your journey. Again, and congrats on the 47K. That's huge. I think you actually made more, but we didn't get into that. But actually made more than 47K. But that's still, that's a good chunk of change, and that's a good amount of money. But any like final thoughts? Any last nuggets of wisdom as we wrap up here?
Yeah, the only thing that I would say, it's, I mean, if you're watching some of these content, you care. So just think about it. right? That's my thing. It's like just think about it, because if you want to work, you know, like I said, if you try to do it by yourself, it might happen or it might not. But if you have a structured plan to actually take action, and you know that you're committed, right? That the only thing that you need is some guidance to get there, then do it. Like that's my opinion, right? And that, I mean, that's what I recommend, because I think it makes a difference.
Awesome. Cool. Well, again, appreciate you hopping on, sharing your story, and yeah, we'll have to catch you next time.
Thank you, Victor.